No bread in the house? Well, not to worry. I'm going to show you how to make baking soda scones. There's only 4 ingredients. We just need buttermilk, salt, baking soda, and flour. To get started, all we need to do is shift up the buttermilk here. Need 2 cups of buttermilk. We need 2 cups of buttermilk. About a teaspoon of salt. I don't put a full teaspoon, but about a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of baking soda. Stir this up first. And 4 cups of flour. Now, don't sometimes use all 4 cups of flour, just depending on how the dough is looking. Start with 1. And I prefer to use whole wheat flour. 2, 3. I've put 3 in first. I've got the 4th cup here, and I will just see how it thickens up. I like to use less flour, just so that it's less stiff or doughy. And I'm just going to stir this up, and as it mixes in, I'll progressively add the 4th cup of flour. So that's 3 cups. I will add. I just like to use chopsticks for everything. You can just use a wooden spoon. Put a little flour on my hands. Now, I don't like to work the dough as much because it toughens the flour up. So try to handle it as least as possible. So I'm working in the flour that's in here. As all the flour gets used in there, then we're ready to roll it out. So all the flour is getting worked into the ball of dough. Now, all the flour in. So I used about 3½ cups of flour. I'm going to take some of this other flour to roll out. So I'll have a nice clean working surface. Rolling pin, put the flour on that. Now, so what I'm going to do is just roll out and make a few biscuits. And I'll show you how to make very simple cinnamon rolls from here. So depending on how thick you like the biscuit, because these will flop out. I'm just going to cut a section of this off and make sort of 2 triangles, and we will have, with the remaining dough that I have left, I'm just going to roll this flat. Get it pretty thin, then you get more layers in your cinnamon roll. Roll it out in a rectangular shape. Quite thin. So I've rolled out the dough thin. I'm just going to put a layer of margarine or margarine spread or butter on there. And just a thin layer, not too thick, otherwise the cinnamon rolls will be greasy. So just a thin layer, enough to put some brown sugar and cinnamon on there. nice just cinnamon, and just, if you like lots of cinnamon, put lots of cinnamon. I just like to put a thin layer on there. And just put a thin layer of brown sugar on there. We'll take a knife and let me just roll this nice and tight. And just take the knife to help you scrape from the bottom if necessary. Now, the trick with slicing this is using dental floss. Now, you could cut it with a knife, but you wouldn't get the clean, sharp cut cinnamon roll as you would using dental floss. So, take a nice chunk piece. When I do the cutting, I'll just slip the dental floss down underneath, and depending on how thick you like your cinnamon rolls, bring the two sides up, crisscross, and again, underneath, bring the sides up, crisscross, slice open. Side. So now we'll have a tray, we'll have some cinnamon biscuits, however many you want to make, and the remainder just make into cinnamon rolls, and you've got the bread fix. I like to give a little room between these because they will spread. And we'll bake this for about 15-20 minutes, just looking for this to get golden brown. We'll bring it out and we'll ice it. So, our cinnamon buns and our baking soda biscuits are now done. It's about 15-20 minutes in the oven. So basically you're looking for it just to be sort of golden brown. Now we can just let it cool, or you can put icing on while it's warm if you like the icing to melt slightly. For convenience, I just use the Betty Crocker cream cheese icing. My daughters quite enjoyed that brand. I'll just take one of these little ones here and just put a little dollop of icing on. There. And you can have that nice and melting. So with 4 ingredients, we can have our baking soda scones, or just add a thin layer of margarine spread or butter. Sprinkle some cinnamon and brown sugar. We've got cinnamon rolls, and you can add some cream cheese icing, and voila, your bread fixing with 4 simple ingredients for the baking soda scones. Add another 3 ingredients. You've got cinnamon rolls, and with or without icing.